So it's a Yamaha day today again. So I've got 1978 YZ400 that I've just been looking at, which has got a gear selector problem. That's the video that was published just before this one. And then now I've got this 1979 IT400. So this is the enduro version. So it's got a, I mean this, if you're looking at it closely, you might notice this is like half a bike. There's a couple of bits and pieces missing. Nothing too major, I would hope. So the first noticeable bit is the tank is missing. The tank that was on this bike, I've had this bike for quite a while now, was split, and so I took the tank off, and that's what we're left with. I know there are people around the world who are making aluminium tanks. The plastic, the original plastic of the ITs, the blue plastic, seems to go bad, and a lot of them are split. So there's some people making some repro aluminium ones which sprayed up blue. They look fantastic. And then the other bit that's missing on this is the airbox, which would go in this hole here. And then there's an elbow, like a small 90-degree rubber elbow. It's the same as the YZ one, which would go onto there. But other than that, I mean, originally I was going to do this bike and I was going to do a couple of enduros on it. One of them being the snow run. I decided it was a good idea to try and tackle that on a 1979 old Yamaha. But that wasn't to be. So anyway, so this bike here, I've had it for quite a while, and other than the bits and pieces that are missing, the rest of the bike seems to be in generally good condition. It's not perfect, as you might expect. I'd had the seat covered, the bars probably blast up and repaint. It's got the light switches and the horn switch. The horn switch is missing actually, but the light switches are still there. Obviously there's no lights connected. The lighting coil connectors are around somewhere. Just saw them before. So they are there anyway. And then other than that, the bike's nice and straight, and I've just had it running, and I have just had it riding around the garden. So that's what I was planning to do with it, to show you it running and riding. I've got my auxiliary fuel tank on it, because obviously it's not got a fuel tank, so it's not the safest ride around the garden in the world, but it is possible to do that. It had completely the wrong plug in it before. Now the plug I've put in it is not the right plug either. It's a BR9 EIX. Plugs I use in my race bike, so I had a few brand new ones of them knocking about, so that's what I've put in, and that's what it's running with at the minute. So we'll just flip the camera around and we can have a quick look over the bike itself, and then we'll do a little video of it running and a little bit video of it riding, so you can just see it going through the gears, starting, stopping, and all of that kind of good stuff. So there we go. So if we take a look first of all at the front wheel, the rim is perfectly straight. It's got a few little marks on it, but perfectly straight. As I say, where the tyre levers have been on it for changing the tyres, but it doesn't look as though it's had a lot of use. Speedo drive is still there. The drum is all fully intact. It's not damaged, the brake plate or anything like that. Looks as though this fork might be leaking. It's going to need fork seals. The chrome on the forks is good, and whoever had it before has put these nice Goki fork caps on. I don't think they're original equipment on this bike. they're a nice little upgrade. Triple clamps look to be in good nick. The frame looks good. It's protected down at the bottom with a sump guard. The exhaust, I am going to say, has had some welding. I don't know whether there's been a problem and they've replaced this whole piece, but it looks as though it's been welded around that joint, and it looks as though it's been welded around this joint here. Other than that, it's in generally good condition. No major dents. A couple of little bits and pieces here and there, but no major dents. Frame, like I say, looks to be bang on, and the engine looks to be in great condition. And as I say, I have just had it running, so I know it does run. It's got bags of compression. The silencer, I'm assuming, yeah, it does look, this bit moves. So someone's bent the silencer to keep the baffle in. But other than that, it's good. And the rear rim, a bit like the front rim, is in great condition. Whether you'd want to get those wheels re-spoked or whether you'd just clean up those existing spokes would be entirely up to you, depending on how far you want to take the bike. But certainly perfectly usable with those spokes in. Just make sure they're tightened up and maybe give them a bit of a clean up. But yeah, I mean, the bits that get the wear, there's not a huge amount of wear on them, to be honest. So other than a bit of TLC, I would say, I think she's going to be a good bike. So she is a matching numbers bike. The prefix is 2X8, which is what denotes it as a 1979 bike. Looks as though the shock may be leaking. Can't guarantee, but it looks as though it may be leaking. So you might want to get that serviced as well as doing the forks as well. And then other than that, it's the rest of it is cosmetics really. So let's do a little video of it firing up, and then we'll do a little video of it riding as well. There is no kill switch on this bike, so I've not set the tick over because it's difficult to stop. Anyway, hopefully that's given you a good idea of the overall condition of the bike and a quick demonstration of it running and riding, and that'll give you enough to go on to see if you want to buy it. So 99.9% sure I don't have a US title for this. That's 100%. I definitely don't. 99.9% sure that I have a Nova certificate which proves it's had the taxes paid on it on import into the country. So as that's the case, you'd need a dating certificate off somewhere like the Vintage Japanese Motorcycle Club, VJMC. You don't have to be a member to get that. I think it's 55 quid if you're not, something like that. It's easy to do. And then you can register this bike. Doesn't need an MOT, so it's easy job. And then all you've got to do, find a tank and an airbox, make your own airbox, whatever way you want to do it, and should be good to go. And I know it's a great bike, great start for a project, and be a fantastic vintage trail bike or Vinduro bike. Please like this video and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Just search Phoenix Motos.